Welcome to the show, everybody. It's the Crypto Lark. Today, we're going to be talking about Ontology, brought to you by the good folks over at Onchain, Decentralized Trust for business. We're getting into just what they are intending to do after a quick shout out to everyone who's been hitting that like button, and of course, everyone who's been subscribing to the channel. If you're not subscribed to the channel yet, make sure you hit that button down below or the bell to stay up to date with all of the latest in crypto space. Furthermore, this is of course not professional financial advice. This is just a dude talking about cryptocurrencies on the internet. Let's get into it, guys. Ontology, it's so hot right now. Everybody's talking about it. And admittedly, I am a little late to the game. I would have liked to have reviewed Ontology back in December or so, but you know, you get to things when you get to things. But Ontology is a very interesting project, and I can understand why a lot of people have been talking about Ontology recently. I think there's a lot of anticipation that this may be one of the next big things. I wanted to break down today just how Ontology is planning to work, what exactly it is, and we're going to be giving you a few of the potential downsides to it that you may or may not have thought of yet. Now, it is a distributed trust network made to be compatible with all business scenarios and compliance requirements. In fact, one of the key issues for Ontology is to be compliant under various legal systems, various regions, various business scenarios, and of course, data security considerations. Multi-chain, multi-IT system, customizable smart contract distributed ledger. Can I throw in any more crazy words? Well, of course I can. Wide range of practical use cases across an array of industries. Wowzers, they're trying to do a lot. They have been launched by the company Onchain. Onchain is a name that you may know because they are the ones who launched Neo. Now, this is designed to allow the easy onboarding of businesses with little to no distributed ledger technology experience. It wants to be the blockchain protocol that opens the door for corporations to come in. Now, you might be wondering, well, why is trust a problem? Come on, guys, it's the internet. How many people on the internet do you trust? How many businesses that you've never done business with before do you trust? That number is actually usually small for most people. At most, you may trust around 100 people. And that's, you know, jumping out to the guy at the post office and all this stuff probably. The current trust networks that we have, well, they just aren't very trustworthy, and this is a real problem. We have bad privacy, they're centralized, which we know is a massive problem on so many levels, outdated authentication systems, and of course, the actual value of the data that's generated is massively underutilized. How are we trying to get there? First, we have protocols for authentication, authorization, and data exchange and collaboration. We have international compatibility, distributed ID, distributed procedure protocols, distributed communities, and distributed attestation. Attestation, of course, saying that something is true. The Ontology chain itself is planning to be a modular chain, easily pluggable, decoupled architecture which will allow for the support of Neo, Ethereum, and other blockchains. Hybrid Oracle, unlimited consensus engine, a really interesting concept. So a next generation consensus called Ontorand, that'll be their consensus engine that they're running. Very high scalability. It'll be using the Neo virtual machine for smart contracts, and it's also going to be having a DAO called Hydra DAO. There are some strong links to Neo here. Obviously, it's been launched on Neo, but it will be developing itself later. But this has been built by Onchain. It's looking to be a complementary system to Neo. Onchain obviously didn't develop its own best competition, but Onchain, Neo, and Ontology are all separate business entities. Neo is handling digital assets. Ontology is handling digital ID. This all comes back to the overarching idea that these guys at Onchain have to create this whole ecosystem for business to come in and say, yep, assets, your ID, we got it. And of course, I'd be looking for them to develop even more interesting projects in the future. The ID system itself is very interesting to me. It is a multi-source ID system, so you can be vouched for by your friends, by family, institutions, the qualifications that you have, the experience you have, the language skills you have. Think about a job application. How many people go into a job application and lie, or at least exaggerate the truth on their job applications? A lot of people. That's how many people. What about for objects? Can objects have an ID? Well, yes, they can. Who owns that? Who has the right to use it? Who has the right to sell it, to transport it? Where is it? What about the data that it's providing? Let's think about IoT devices here. Distributed procedures. Let's imagine, for example, this great example they gave in the white paper, and you have to come read the white papers. They're really interesting. They give a great breakdown on all the tech and all the different ideas that they're going to be looking at here. But just as an example, let's imagine that you need to go and see your doctor. There are so many different stages where your ID could come in and be very, very important. And so Ontology can find itself right at the center of all that. So your medical records, your digital ID, your inquiry, all this stuff, proving your identity, saying who you are, having that be verified, and so on and so forth. A lot of great use potential here. And of course, it goes well beyond that. They're looking at a very multi-industry approach. There are so many different industries that could benefit massively from having a robust ID system. Wealth management, securities, supply chain, micropayments, supply chain, the sharing economy, know your customer, anti-money laundering laws, agriculture, and on and on and on goes the list. If they can find themselves at the center of that, even just in China, that would be massive. But of course, this is a global looking company. Now, if you're worried about the privacy of your data, they're planning on bringing in stealth addresses, encryption, watermarking, sharding to help address data security. They also have a robust governance model with lots of room for community involvement in that governance model, even by doing things like authenticating and endorsing other people within the Ontology Trust Network. The team over at Ontology is very impressive as well. We have Jun Li. Jun Li is the founder of Ontology, but he's also the co-founder of Onchain. And if you start to look down the team here, you realize, wow, this is a very serious team. Look how many software engineers they have. It's crazy. You really don't see many teams with that kind of serious people on the development side. It's mostly engineers, which I'm very impressed by the team that Ontology has. Now, just to throw some ideas out here for you, you may want to keep in mind, of course, we are still just on the test net for Ontology, which is really cool. Obviously, we want to see the main net. What will business adoption of Ontology be like? That's an important thing to keep in mind. I'm not at all worried that they're not going to bring out a main net. Obviously, we've got the people behind it, the money behind it from Onchain. It's not going to be a problem there, but what will businesses think when they see this? How will they respond to that? That's something that remains to be proven when the mainnet comes out. The distribution of the tokens. This is something I don't think a lot of people mention, but 12% of the tokens are coming to the community. Now, hey, look, you can't complain too much that it's only 12% going to the community because it's all being done in free airdrops. Can't complain too much about free airdrops, can you? 10% is going for tech rewards, 25% for ecosystem development, 15% for the team, 10% for the Neo Council, and 28% set aside for institutional investors. So you can actually see there's actually a very small sliver of this that is going to be going to the community directly through airdrops. It's, again, free money, so rock and roll. But nevertheless, that is a small allocation for them. You'll mostly be buying Ontology tokens from other people in the future. But nevertheless, free money's free money, guys. Some people do see Chinese projects as risky. This is an internationally focused project, just like Neo. I don't see this as a risk. I see them as trying to get in and be as compliant as possible, to work with the relevant bodies, to put themselves at the center of distributed ledger technology in East Asia and, of course, globally. So I don't personally see that as being a risk, although I know that there are some people out there who do see that. You might also think, well, what about the competition? We have, Civic, and they're dealing with digital IDs, for example. Well, yeah, Civic is dealing with digital ID, but I think Ontology is just going total next level on Civic here, to be honest. And there are other people that deal with different parts of identification and trust, but I think Ontology is trying to bring all of that together and make it a very robust system. And of course, you might even consider the more Orwellian aspects of data collection and putting your ID on the blockchain and all this stuff, and there will be people who will find that argument persuasive. Personally, I think that this is only a positive step moving forward with a product like Ontology. If you do want to grab some Ontology, currently trading for around $2. We've seen it get down around $1. I think there's a lot of FOMO going on right now with Ontology because people are starting to find out more and more just what it's all about and how cool of a project it is. There will be 1 billion tokens as the total supply in the long run. Currently there's only 241 million of those out. So that is something to keep in mind. If we do have 1 billion tokens, currently you need to see a bit of a higher market cap for that. But if you're patient, you might see it come back down to like $1 or so in this bearish market that we are currently in. And of course, if you want to pick some up, you can always rock over to Huobi or to Binance, a place where it is trading mostly. Very interesting project, Ontology. I understand what some people are excited about. I'm excited about Ontology. I think it's really cool. But hey, those are just my 2 Satoshis. You guys will let me know what you think about Ontology in the comment section down below. Long live the blockchain, and peace out till next time.